But on that deployment, myself and a few other guys got to do a really cool mission where we actually did an HVT snatch, high value target, and it was Saddam's #1 assassin that we went to go take down. And the CIA had been getting him for a long time. He had killed multiple people that tried to get him and roll him up before.
He was hired by Saddam.
He was Saddam's #1 assassin for years. And the CIA had been trying to get him for a while. And I remember we went into this briefing of like, hey, we're going to go to an HVT. That's it. We're like, cool. Where are we going? Can't tell you. Okay. Who are we getting? Can't tell you. When do we leave? Can't tell you. Okay. They're like, just be ready to go. When we call you, we're going to need to load helicopter. You'll get your.
Who is this telling you they can't tell you?
Our leadership.
Gotcha.
From the SEAL team, because they had been getting this intel, this brief, and this mission working directly with the CIA and some other, obviously some Army officials and Marine Corps officials that were over there that owned the battle space. It was a very highly coordinated thing that they've been trying to get for a while. And I just remember myself and these other guys going, okay, like we had our basic loadout, and it's like, well, maybe I need this, and maybe I'll pack this. And then also now you're like putting on all this extra gear, and then you're like, all right, I'm not able to be, as agile as I need to be. And so then you're like changing out your gear, and it's like, all right, let's just go back to like what we trained in and maybe add in a few extra things. And so we fly from Baghdad, and we're flying up north. We stop at a base to refuel. And while we're there, we meet with a source, and this guy's fully balaclava masked up, like telling us about this guy. He's going to be the guy that identified him. And he's like, I can't be identified because he'll kill my whole family. Like if he sees that I'm identifying you guys and he gets away, my whole family dies. Wow. And so he's like masked up, like not talking, like more than he needs to give us information. And, I mean, it was, I was like, all right, cool. What's the deals with this guy? And they're like, giving us his stats. I mean, he's 6'2", 6'3", 6'4"-ish, like 250 to 260 range. Like this guy is a big dude. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, and they're like, where's he at? And they're like, well, currently he's being held on the border of Turkey and Iraq. He's being held there. They don't want him. They want to like release him, but we're going to release him back into Iraq. So you guys need to go stage at the base of this bridge. And when he comes up over the bridge, that's where you guys are going to get him. So we had him to where he's coming across a choke point where we were able to control it. Middle of the day, there's cars and people all over the place. They're going through the military checkpoint. And I just remember like, okay, so we like studied the picture, and this guy's like, I'm going to be the one to identify him. So we're like, all right, so we land, we do a bunch of like false landings and takeoffs with the helicopters and all over that area. So, cause we know he's on the other side. And we also know that the Iraqi soldiers are super corrupt for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like giving information and
yeah.
tipping it off and getting payouts and everything else like that. And so we're sitting there, and I just remember hearing on the radio, we've got visibility. And I was like, oh my dude, this is real now. Yeah. And I'll never forget. Like I was in this little guard shack hiding.
This isn't your first firefight though, right? At this point?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, because we had been doing security where nothing had really kicked off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
And so this is like, okay. And he comes up over the crest of the bridge, and he gets confirmed. And, this guy is just walking, and
he wasn't in a car.
No, he was in a car. So they released him, and he had to walk over the bridge.
Oh, y'all are that tight to the border.
We are on the border of Iraq and Turkey. He had been, excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. He had been detained there, and they knew who he was, and they're like, we don't want this guy. We don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, the repercussions.
He had killed multiple people that had rolled him up before in the past. Like CIA tried to grab him. He had killed a lot of people. This guy was so evil. He would use women to lure his targets back to a room. And then he'd be in the room. He would kill both of those people because he couldn't let the woman go to tell. Dang. And he would cut up their bodies and leave them in bathtubs. Damn. I mean, this guy was an evil, demonic human.
Wow.
I mean, demon possessed. It was horrific. The things that this guy did.
I'm sure it's stuff you probably can't even or don't want to share.
This is what I can share. And also, like, honestly, I don't want people to hear some of the other stuff because, you know, those words become thoughts, and I don't want people thinking about that.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
It's just one of those things. You know, my wife sometimes is like, you don't tell me everything. And I'm like, there's a reason.
There's just no reason to,
There's no reason. You know, it's like watching horror movies. Why? That's the demonic thoughts. Like, you don't need to watch, like,
it's not going to benefit you.
Yeah.
So, right.
You know, and so anyway, so I just remember them telling us all this stuff, and I was like, I mean, okay, this is going to be like spiritual warfare. Like, this is going to be crazy, man.
Dang.
And so anyways, he's come up over the bridge. He gets closer. And I just remember looking at my buddy across the way, and we have our rifles out and we're ready. And we're like, all right, we got to let him get close enough, but not too close where he can get through, but not to where he can run away. And we're like kind of looking at each other. We're looking, and, you know, like guys are doing their normal checkpoints, and the guys like, went up, and they're like, oh, cool. Yep. You can come through. Like, they're just acting like, yeah, we don't know who you are. You can come through, so that they can have somebody on the backside to stop him.
For sure.
And I just remember looking at him, and we both did the nod. We did our barrel waves, and we went out. And I just remember everything was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just everything slowed down. And it was like, I get the goosebumps thinking about it, because I'm sure it's probably similar. Like when you get on, you know, a bull or a bronc, and you're like sitting there and it starts moving. It just
feels like an eternity for a sec, you know, like,
and you're like, is this gate going to open?
Yeah.
I can't relate to that. But I'm willing to bet like it's similar, because the way God designed our bodies to react to these stressful situations.
The stakes are a little lower for us, but thank you for making the connection.
I don't know. You could argue that.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like these bulls might pull a knife, but they won't.
I would rather get in a gunfight with my kid on and my guys than go jump on a bull.
Yeah.
But I do want to jump on a bull one day, or a bronc, because I think that would just be awesome. But, you know, so it's all relative.
You're in that moment.
It's all relative. If I was like, hey man, we're going to roll up some cartel guys.
Yeah.
I could call buddies that are like, dude, where am I meeting you? And you'd be like, so are we sure about this? What do we got to do? And I'd be like, no, you're going to be good. This is all we're going to do. You're just going to go do this. And you're like, I don't feel I'm super comfortable and qualified for this. Like, if I just called you up and like, hey man, I need you to help me go roll up some cartel guys, you'd probably be like,
or maybe I scare you with how falsely confident I am. No. You're going to want to hold your gun like this.
Hey, no. Turn it around.
I got it.
No. Turn it around.
You guys follow my lead.
Hey, your magazine's backwards. That's why I won't go in the gun right now.
Something's wrong with this gun.
So I love it when I teach shooting. People get so stressed out, they'll put the magazine wrong. They're like, this gun's not working. I'm like, well, the magazine's wrong way.
Well, I'm just used to a different
caliber. I'm used to the rounds facing me that go into the gun. So
used to the M7. This is an M4. So you walk.
So anyway, so we do the nod. We go out, and it's like guns, and then we close the distance fast, and we go up on them, and we're immediately like getting, you know, front side, and we have
it's called an L ambush, Cole.
My man, it is. So we immediately set up that L ambush, and we're getting him to like turn around, kind of lift up his shirt. We're like checking to make sure he doesn't have anything on him. And I was going to be the prisoner handler, which is comical for how big this guy is.
Oh, dang. So it's not just y'all just shoot him and you're done with it.
No.
Oh, man. This is worse.
Yes.
We got to take him alive.
No, because I would have just
thinking like
I would have just
two
shot
in the
him
chest and one in the head.
No, I would have just shot him from concealment and been like, cool, 3 to 5 rounds in the face. We're good.
Yeah.
No, we have to get this guy alive so that he can be interrogated.
Ooh. Yeah, which would probably be better. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it go down?
It worked out for us well as a nation. Okay, so set it up. We turn him around, you know, and we're talking to him, and he is just like growling at us.
Oh man!
And I'm like that's a demon. That's a demon. And so he we get him to the point where he turns around, and my buddies for a while they were joking. They called me like the flying squirrel, because like as he like turned around, I had to like run, jump, and then get that rear naked into him. The rear naked choke.
Oh, he turned around like without y'all's.
No, we made him. No. We made, that's part of the prisoner handling. Well, he wouldn't put his hands behind his back, and he like wasn't complying, and he was turned around. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, now we'll escalate. And so I jump up onto this guy, start choking him out, rip him back. And I'm like punching him in the face, because now he's starting to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like punching him in the face, choking him, punching him, choking him, punching him. And I mean, this guy he is big and strong, man.
Really?
Immediately, my other buddy jumps, controlling his hips. other guy's controlling his legs. We're trying to zip tie his feet together. And he's like, I am going to kill all of your families. He's like, I'm going to kill every single one of them. I just started laughing. I was like, bro, you ain't doing shit now, man.
Yeah.
Excuse my language for the viewers,
That's
but
all right.
I don't know what your rating is. You can edit that out if you need.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you're not doing anything now, man. But he was also fighting to get to his waistband. And so we're trying to control his hands. And what he had on him was a punch spike that stabs through body armor.
Golly.
Yeah. And he had that on him and that he was trying to get. And so we have to tune him up because he's fighting back pretty bad. We get him to the point where it's like, all right, we like just torquing his arms behind his back. We have him face down. My knee is on his back of his head, full kit, all my gear, back of the neck, pushing that in there. And we're like moving his arms around and he's like still like talking. He's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to murder your family.
In English.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Spoke multiple languages. We zip tie his hands together, zip tie his hands to his belt, zip tie his feet together. We took possession of somebody's pickup truck on the bridge and got them out.
Like in the movies, get out. I need your car.
Well, everyone saw what was happening and they're like up in that area. They're super peaceful. The Kurds hated Saddam because he like just straight massacred them.
Right.
So Saddam used to, if there's a book called Saddam's Secrets written by George Sada. It is disgusting what Saddam used to do and what he did to the Kurds. The Kurds hate that region of people because he used to take them up in helicopters and the games that he would play was throwing live Kurds that he didn't like that pushed back on his stuff out of a helicopter trying to let them land on spikes of fences and big poles or whatever. It was like a game to him. And it was pretty bad. And so the Kurds were like, they knew what we were doing. They knew who the Americans were. Yeah.
Take my truck.
Yeah. There you go, buddy. And so, I mean, obviously we're going to get it back to the guy. And so we have our CIA source. We have the guy that identified him talking to this guy like, hey, we just need to get him out to this field because we called in the helicopters because I mean, everything was very dynamic. We had the helicopters on the other side of the ridge line, like hovering, waiting for this to go down because as soon as we grabbed them, they had to come up and over. We had to get them up in there and get out of there. So we do that. We get them up, get them out to this field. Helicopters come in, we load them up, and we're like, and he's still like, I'm going to kill you guys. We're like, all right, dude, and we're bringing him up on the helicopter, and like the helicopter crew is like, these guys are like, who is this guy? Like,
yeah,
why? Like, cause they don't know anything obviously. And, so we bring him back to base and like, nobody's talking. Cause the whole part of it was like, hey, no talking. Like, cause I don't want to be like, hey Dale, can you hand me that? Cause
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had no name tapes. We had nothing. Our camis were slick. Like there's nothing, no identifying anything anywhere, no patches. And we get them back to the base that we're dropping them off. And I remember when we're getting there, like these Marines that were taking him, their police, this guy was like, who is this guy? And I'm like, why, what's up? We're playing all dumb. Like, I don't know. And they're like, they had to like, they call it sanitize like buildings that he was going to be holding into, meaning there couldn't be pencils. There couldn't be paper clips. There could be nothing in these rooms, nothing. And there was multiple rooms deep that had to be cleaned for them to go hold this guy. Because he, again, had been detained before and he'd killed people and gotten out and nothing, like no pins, no, like nothing. And so it was pretty crazy being able to do that as a new guy on my first deployment. But so the rest of it
what came of him?
I have no idea.
Really?
No idea. From that point, like we literally never heard anything from it. So usually when you do stuff like that, the military, you'll get like an award for that. But because for a very long time, it was, dude, we got a handshake and a coin from the CIA afterwards. And they're like, hey, thanks. Appreciate you guys. We're like, thank you.
Yeah.